it's Kristin. So I have another recipe for you, kind of a cooking along with Kristin sort of a recipe. You guys really seemed to like that the last time where I tried a recipe for the first time and shared it with you. So let's try it again. This time I'm going to be making apple cinnamon protein muffins. Now this recipe, and I will link it below, I got from Dani. She has a YouTube channel as well as a blog. And I'm going to list both of them below. She does clean eating sort of things. And her blog is cleananddelicious.com. And she actually, like I said, has a YouTube channel, which I will list both of those below. I really enjoy her videos. She does a lot of kind of basic, like, you know, mangoes 101 or whatever. Just kind of teach you how to use maybe a certain ingredient. And then she'll follow up with some videos. So she might show you how to cook, how to prepare a spaghetti squash. And then a couple of days later, she'll put up a video with using that prepared spaghetti squash. So that is where I got this recipe from. So we are just going to go along here and make the recipe. So it says just to put all of the ingredients in a big bowl. I'm going to kind of do the dry ingredients first, I think, and then the wet ingredients, and then mix them. That's why I just prefer to do it. So it calls for 2 cups of rolled oats. Now, it doesn't say anything but rolled oats. The ones that I have are quick cooking oats, so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to put my 2 cups of that in there. And then the next dry ingredient it calls for is 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now right off the bat, I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. Because I really prefer, I like a lot of cinnamon. So while I'm going to do 2 teaspoons, I'm going to do 2 kind of heaping teaspoons. I like me some cinnamon, what can I say? The reason that this recipe caught my eye is that, as a lot of you know, I've had gastric bypass. So it's important for me to get a lot of protein. At the end I'll share the nutritional facts, but I'll also list them below for you. And then you also want a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Baking powder is the one that comes in a can like this, not to be confused with baking soda, which comes in a box. Okay, so we have the cinnamon, the baking powder, and then it does say a pinch of salt as well. It says kosher salt, which is what I have here. No, that's a lie. This is sea salt. Whatever, salt. Pinch. Okay, so I'm just going to mix this up. I think I'm just going to grab a fork and just kind of mix that all together. I just really think that once you put liquids into something, it doesn't lend itself to mixing as well. So I like to, this is just how I like to do it. Okay? Okay. Okay, we're going to set that over here. Oh, I have it right here. Okay, so now I'm going to, this calls for 1 cup of Greek yogurt, and it just says 1 cup non-fat Greek yogurt. I'm assuming she means plain, so I'm going with plain. Now anybody that, I think it's kind of out there, lots of people know about this now, but in case you don't, Greek yogurt has double and sometimes triple the amount of protein in it as regular yogurt. So for anybody who's looking to increase their protein and for gastric bypassers, it's a godsend. So we're going to put that in there, and then it calls for 4 egg whites. Now I'm going to save the egg yolks because I really love lemon pudding, and you need egg yolks for lemon pudding. So I'm going to save those and make that. But I'm just going to go ahead and separate these eggs. So I like to tap it on the side, and again, I would zoom you in if I could, but you know, I don't have a crew, I just have me. And Bob's at work, he can't help. I really find that this is the easiest way. I know that they make gadgets for separating eggs, but I just find that it's easy for me just to crack it gently and then kind of move the yolk from eggshell to eggshell and let the white fall down. Okay, the recipe doesn't say to do this, but anytime I ever use egg whites, I usually give them a little bit of a whisk. You can use a fork. This is a little Pampered Chef, of course. Because my husband would say, is there anything in our kitchen that's not Pampered Chef? And again, I never have, nor do I ever intend to work for Pampered Chef. Not that they're not a great company, just not on my bucket list of places to work. Alright, so I have the cup of Greek yogurt. I'm going to go ahead and drop in my egg whites. And I'm going to give those a little zhuzh here. I gotta say, this looks very strange. I think I'm going to switch this out for my whisk, actually. So So this is probably a good part of the video to kind of see what works and what doesn't work. The whisk works a lot better for mixing this together. I've never baked with Greek yogurt. I've heard lots of people say that you can do it. I just haven't done it myself. So, okay, and then this, what adds the sweetness is a combination of things. The protein powder, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then the recipe actually calls for something called sucanat. I've never even heard of that. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly, but it's S-U-C-A-N-A-T. And I had commented on the, I'd commented on one of her videos. I don't think she hadn't done these in a video, but I commented something about this and that I was going to try to search it down. And she said I could just use honey, so that's what I'm going to do. This is just clover honey from Aldi. That honey had gotten all weird, so I had to break out the new honey. You know, never a dull moment. All right, I'm going to just spatula in the honey. I'm going to get that as thoroughly mixed in as I can. Are you guys impressed that I'm not using my KitchenAid? I love my KitchenAid, what can I say? This didn't feel like this required it. Okay, so the last two ingredients are apples and protein powder. I think I'm going to put the protein powder in with the dry stuff, and it calls for 2 scoops. Now the protein powder that I use is this one called Unjury, and I buy this online. I like this one because it only has 3 grams of sugar in it, and it's 21 grams of protein per scoop. So I really enjoy that. And I'd have to sit down and actually figure out if mine is as good as, or if mine is better than hers or not. But I'll do that at the end of the video. At least, you know, like protein-wise, how much protein are in mine versus what hers say. I think it's pretty much the same. Most protein powders are 15 to 20 grams per scoop. So we're going to mix that up. I've never baked with protein powder either. I know I'm like the only gastric bypasser who hasn't put protein powder in everything probably. Alright, so now I'm going to add the liquids to the dries. Just, normally I would do it the other way around, but since this is how I started it, that's what's going to happen. Alright, we're going to stir this up and not spill it, hopefully. So this is going to make 12 muffins, and the recipe said to, you know, spray a muffin tin, but I just chose to use cups, muffin cups, so it's easier for me to grab one, like if I'm going to take it to work in the morning. I'm so convinced that I'm going to like these. Alright, and then once I have that, I'm going to just fold in 1 apple that's chopped up. Now the kind of apple that I used is a Braeburn apple. I think you can use whichever one you want. I'm allergic to some different kinds of apples, but I found I'm not allergic to Braeburn, and they hold up well when you're baking. It might be a lot of apple. Whatever. Alright, so I'll give you a little close-up of what the batter looks like. Alright, so that is what the batter looks like. It smells like protein powder. I'm sure it'll be fine though. Okay, really quick heads up, I'm going to stick this in there. If you guys are making these along with me, and I will talk about it later, do not put these in paper cups. Just spray your muffin tins with Pam and put them directly into the muffin tin. Just wanted to let you guys know that didn't work. I'll explain later. Okay, so as I always do, one last check of all the ingredients. We have the oatmeal, the apple, the powder, the eggs, yogurt, the sweetener, cinnamon, baking powder, salt. Alright, we are good to go. So now what I always like to do when I'm making muffins of any sort is use a scoop. You could use a ice cream scoop. This is the large Pampered Chef scoop. And I'm just going to kind of start by filling up the cups. Well, that looks like a little much to me, but we'll see. I'm going to do 1 scoop and see. I'm not convinced that these will rise as much as normal ones. But the nice thing about this is that you can get the same, you know, amount-ish in each muffin tin, so that they will cook at the same reason I like to use a scoop for cookies, which you guys have heard me say before. So they all, you know, cook at the same speed. Okay, so this is what it looks like going in. I've preheated the oven to 350, And these cook for 18 to 20, or they bake for 18 to 20 minutes. So I'm actually going to, I like to err on the side of less usually. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in for 15 minutes and then I will check them and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so time to try a muffin. I've let these cool, I don't know, they've probably been sitting here for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to take this out of the package. Okay, so they don't look like a normal muffin, I can tell you that. They're good. There's a little bit of sweetness, but not a ton. I wonder if they would have worked better coming out of the package had I actually used, not lined them with the cups. I wonder if they aren't really meant to do that because it doesn't really, it's not coming out of here very well. But yeah. So that's the only, not fail, but the only thing is that I think they would have been better not put into these cups. So not better taste-wise, obviously, but better served, easier to deal with. But I'm going to come up and show you the consistency because it's not exactly like a muffin. So that's kind of the consistency. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but it's a little bit different, which I expected it to be different. So, however, they're good. So one of my concerns was that they would be dry, and they're definitely not dry. So according to this, and I think this is fairly close to what mine would be as I've taken a look. There's 106 calories per one muffin, 1.2 grams of fat, only 0.1 of saturated fat, so that's good. 15 carbs, 1.6 grams of fiber, 5.8 grams of sugar, and 9.1 grams of protein, which that's the key. If I can get almost 10 grams of protein and only 100 calories, my goal is always to get, per my doctor's instruction, 80 grams of protein in a day. So if I can get 10, almost 10 grams in 100 calories, that's awesome, thumbs up. So I will absolutely make these again. I really like them. They are, again, I think that the only change I would make is, and there's perfect amount of cinnamon, by the way. So the only change I would make is that I probably would not make them in these, even though I was trying to make my life easier. There's actually a little bit of condensation in these. So that's interesting. So yeah, I just think it must have something to do with, this particular type of muffin. So I'm going to pull them out of these so that they don't, stay wet in there, and then we'll go from there. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and link them below. Leave them below. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out Dani's channel and her blog. She really does a lot of really great ideas, especially if you're looking for healthy, clean, and delicious. She does a lot of paleo-friendly as well, so a couple of my friends like Gina, you might want to check her out. So anyway, I'll link those below. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!